Anyway, lovely to see your lovely faces. It's great, great. Thanks for coming out. And I know I always say that I am excited. I am excited to tell you that I have just got back from walking a stretch of the Southwest Coast Path. I know. That's exciting. I went. Who's anyone done the Southwest Coast Path? Anyone done bits of it? Bits of it. Yeah, I did. I did the stretch just now. I've been doing it for 4 years. You know, I am very slow. But like you, I do it in stages, sort of a week or 10 days at a time. And I just did the bit from Falmouth to Plymouth. And the great thing about doing the Southwest Coast Path is that navigationally, it's very, very easy, because when you start, if the sea is on your right, just keep it on your right and you can't go wrong. So this, look, there's a couple of photos. There we are. That's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Don't know where it is, but it's, you know, Cornwall. Couldn't tell you, not a clue what village, but it's all beautiful, all beautiful. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you about this is because I was inspired to go and do this walk because of a book. Now, you're probably thinking that it's that book. You'd be wrong. Now, this book by, who's read? I'm sure you all have. You're all very literate in here. Yes, of course. So this book, Rain or Win, a fantastic book. People were talking to me about it when I started walking the Salt Path, well, the Coast Path about 4 years ago, and I was like, no, I'm doing it because of another book. I don't want to read this one. I've got another book that's making me do it. Anyway, I decided I should read this book, having gone on about it for so long. I couldn't. It's coming out at the end of this month, isn't it? So I thought, well, I'll read it. And I did. I read this book a couple of months ago. And it's a lovely book, great book. But the book that inspired me to do it, very different. It's this book. Anyone heard of this book? Mark Wallington's 500. No one heard of that book? Okay. So this book, decades old. It was published in 1986. Now, the thing about the Salt Path, okay, is it's a beautiful story. It's a very moving story. And for those of you that haven't read it or not going to see or haven't yet seen the film, because it comes out at the end of the month, but you'll go and see it, I will tell you, and this won't give anything away because I will just tell you what happens in the first few pages, and then you'll find out the rest later. But basically, Raina and her husband, Moth, lose everything from their house to their money and his health. And then they go and decide, well, we've got nothing else to do. Let's go and wild camp the Southwest Coast Path. That's what they do. I will say no more. You can see the film or read the book, and it's a lovely story. This book is arguably more shallow, but more funny. This book was written by Mark in 1986. And I'll tell you just briefly about it, because it is what inspired me to go and walk the Coast Path. So he's in his 20s, and he gets dumped by his girlfriend one Friday, as happened. So obviously, as a young man, he's utterly devastated. The next day, he goes to a party and sees a girl he quite likes. Remarkably, he's now feeling a lot better. So he starts talking to this girl, and they're exchanging sort of information, as you do. And he's asking her questions, and he asks her what she's into, and she says she really, really loves hiking. She then says to him, what do you like to do? And he says he really, really loves hiking. Now, he's never, ever walked further than to the pub, the local pub at the end of his road. That is the maximum, and it's a true story, that's the maximum amount of hiking he's ever done. And the conversation carries on, and she says that she is going to go off and hike the Appalachian Way in the US, and asks him what plans he has, as a hiker for his future hikes. And not being a hiker, he then has to quickly come up with something. That day, he had read an article in the newspaper about this coast path in Cornwall. So he said he was going to go and walk the coast path, and she was impressed by that. And then she said to him, "Are you going to be doing it solo?" Now, earlier in the conversation, she had disclosed that she loves dogs. And so he said, well, I'm walking it on my own, but I'm going to be taking my dog. Now, that was another complete lie, because not only did he not like dogs, he didn't have a dog. So he's lied to her completely. Anyway, off he goes. The next week, he quits his job, which he didn't like either, and he finds himself in a bus shelter in Minehead, which is where the route starts on the north coast. And he's heading off to Poole via the coastal path with his mate's dog that he borrowed in the week, having quit his job, called Boogie, the dog, not his mate, and his mate's tent and his mate's backpack. And he walks the coast path, and he's not fit at all, but he walks himself essentially fit. He does it over a couple of months, and it is a very, very charming, silly and funny and enjoyable story. I would highly, highly commend it. It's different to the Salt Path, but it's equally, I think, as valid, and it is incredibly funny. Anyway, he gets back. He gets to Poole. I mean, he calls it 500-mile Walkies. I don't know what's happened. Maybe it's sat-nav, because it's about 630 miles. But I don't think they've changed the kind of start and finish points. But it doesn't really matter. He gets back. And of course, now he's walked the Salt Path. He's very, very keen to find this girl and tell her how impressive he now is, only to find out that she has gone off hiking the US Appalachian Way with her new boyfriend. So there we are. I think there's probably a lesson in there for someone. I don't know, us generally, maybe. Anyway, that's it. So I would highly recommend, if you ever get time, to and just in terms of who's going to see, are they going to show the Salt Path here? I would imagine they would do, wouldn't they? Yeah.